Everybody is waiting for a flight system, and nobody asked the question, what is the flight system? What happened? Why don't I fly? We made everything, but we could not fly. You've never shown us any flight system. Any of you who made a core, who made a coil, who made the gases, who made the gas cores or gas cores, you all have been so close, but you never understood the flight system. And I'm trying to get you and innovation groups and the scientists around us to see the flight system. But you have to understand the relationship between each other. Where connects to what and how you can translate or find parallels. This is important. If you can find parallels, then you can translate the knowledge. What you see in the matter state, try to translate it and see with the bigger span what happens in the plasmatic state. Let's look at the flight system. Why none of you have managed to fly. But let's see how we have managed to lift in the present matter state. Look at what we've done. Go back to your education in colleges and the schools. Get yourself a weight. I said a brick. This is a well-known experience. This is well-known. But now we bring the knowledge and then you translate into plasmatic. You get yourself a brick and get yourself a rope. As I said, how can you lift, let's say, as I said to the others, this is a 2 kilogram brick, and I give you a 50-gram tennis ball. How can this 50-gram lift the 2 kilogram? And fly with it at any level. Some of you know, and if you go back to the mathematical system we used to use, and we use, go back to what we call pulleys. What we did in the present world, we put 2 kilogram here, and we turn this thing around the pulleys, and what we get, somewhere, if we get the number of the pulleys right, we can lift with a 50 gram. Now, but the problem is, you have to carry this pulley with you all the time to be able to keep this lifted to a new position, because now you have moved it to here, but without the pulleys, it's gone. Look at the number of the pulleys, the diameter of the pulleys, the position of the pulleys, the length of the rope, and everything else to be able to lift the ball. We have another condition. Look at a new way, but you already know this way. You got the brick, you got the 50-gram ball. Most of you who are in physics know this very clearly, but now look at it differently. You have a rope, and you connect the rope to the 50-gram ball. Instead of using the pulleys, pass the rope through a tube, where you can create a motion exactly like this side in the tennis ball, but a connection between the tennis ball and the brick, which is the rope. Hold on to the tube and start just shaking the tube. Just shake it. That it creates a rotation of the ball. When you reach a certain speed of rotation, the ball will be in the same diameter rotation, the same structure. Maybe it will come a bit longer, bigger, but the brick will start lifting. Hold this tube in your hand and walk around the planet. It will never fall. Go up the mountains, jump off a plane, in the parachute. As long as you keep the speed of the rotation there, the brick will never fall. You can dictate the position of it. The brick is a proton. The ball is an electron. The position of the top of what I call the tube is your North Pole, atmosphere. The balance between the two is creation of the lift. If you could allow the ball to fly instead of one end of the rope anywhere around the ball at a given speed, the ball will lift in the middle and set. You create an atom. But if you been with us and you did everything else, you've done the same thing. You put the brick in the middle, you call it the inner core, and you put the ball outside, you call it the outer core. The speed of the rotation of the outer core with the gravitational field in the center of much heavier has created the line between the fields. You have your spaceship. How much more do we need to teach? Sit on the chair. Don't forget, with a ball, you're not playing helicopter game. You're playing field game. There is no disbursement of weight, of air. Now, how many of you have been building the balls, have been making the cores, and you say it doesn't work? Because, as I said to one of the innovation centers today, make a bucket of ganses. Your ganses have to be very heavy. If you look, this is 2000, this is 50 grams. The ratio is 40 to 1. Look at in the atomic structure, the weight of proton in respect to the electron, 2000. Look at the distance between the upper atmosphere of the proton in respect to the upper atmosphere of the electron. That distance is fixed. You call it S1, S2. Then you create to bring in. Now, if you allow the ping pong, the tennis ball to run so fast, he has created the dynamism of the second core. Doesn't matter what's inside. In the teaching of past few weeks, I have taught you this very carefully. The rope is the hydrogen. You looked at the hydrogen as a fuel. I said to you, if you put aluminium in the core and in the outer core at given ratio, because now you fixed it. Why did Armand and Peter and Douglas and the others lost their ball in the testing? Because they achieved it, but they never understood it. The gravitational field force outside create a magnetosphere that this ball fits to somebody, could be in one of the galaxies, but it's gone. But if you can fix, make a bucket of the same gans of CO2, keep it fixed, put it in the ball, and start playing with the other one till you receive lift. You've all been in a flight mode for months. For months and months. If you had 2 or 3 cores and you made a mixture, you all understood this, you could make any materials you like. In which way can I teach you? I close every door for you to be enlightened, you find another gap to escape through, because you never understood. Maybe with this, I can teach you to understand. Get a chair, sit on it, make a rope and rotate it on top of your head. You'll see you start flying from the chair. Your own chair with your own speed will start lifting up. I've done it many times. But be careful, you're strong enough, not afraid of your own action, that you might fall. It's the same principle. Look what we've done with the coils in past months and years. We showed you the coil, the inner core, the outer core. If you could create a heavy gravitational and constantly keep it and change the magnetical, you can create any energy you need between the two. You are playing some, it doesn't work, he's a crook, blah blah, because you never understood. Not to show my stupidity, I have to blame somebody, but I'm still stupid. Nothing has changed. Look at the structure of the core, look at the structure of your coils, look at the structure of when we did the gas, when we did gas, when you did a star formation is a more concentrated field. So, if you can lift a stone or yourself off the chair with a ping pong ball at a given speed, you understand it. You can do the same thing with the core because your weight will not change. Is the length of the rope at the end from the top, this length here, because when you rotate it, it'll become like this. There's no bend there. So the length of the rope is the diameter difference between your two cores, the gap on the cores and the coils. This is the potential difference. That's why it works. 1 millimeter to so much volt equal to so much RPM. If you find that ratio, you can all fly. If you needed a 36-inch rope to fly and lift 2 kilometers with a 50, from the top of here is 36 inches, then you can translate this knowledge to what RPM or what voltage difference you need that you achieve the lift. You're all in space technology. Goodbye, NASA. Goodbye, propulsion. Now you can translate the whole knowledge right across. The matter state into the plasma state, into transfer of voltage and current, which is whichever you like. That's why we say certain RPMs, certain voltages creates lift. But this lift is inertia independent because it can go anywhere. Walk up the ladder, you see still the same rotation of, you don't need to change the speed of rotation. Because now the fields, you look at the ball as a ball, but that ball has gravitational magnetic field, the strength of the mass. It has created its own atmosphere in its plasmatic form, and it's interacting with the brick. The If you look at it, the wire is the feedback, nothing else. You need the feedback. That's why, as I said in other teachings, when you put heavy alkaline in the center, which is gravitational, look at all your alkalines, all got oxygen. Oxygen is creation, is a gravitational field in plasmatic condition on this planet. But if you spread it down, it becomes hydrogen property. Those who understand in the future will appreciate it. So now you created a GANS, heavy GANS in the center. You put a little bit, you need a feedback. The feedback was a little bit of alkaline. But you need a line of connection for the feedback. Now you put the hydrogen inside and hydrogen outside. Because the alkalineness can change. The speed of the rotation, the speed of the distance between the top and the ball can change. But you cannot lose the connection, which is the wire, the cable. So you made the cable by adding the hydrogen to aluminum in both cores. You made the rope because it's a common denominator. Minimum common denominator cannot be broken. So you have all the tools. Any of you can fly, and I keep on saying it. I say, you talk about it, but you can't. But it's not my fault that you don't see the light. The street is lit. You are blind. So understand the translation of the knowledge, understand the translation of the information. Those who sit with us from NASA organization, the Russian Space Agency, I hope you got your message. I hope now you can fly in peace. And I congratulate the Iranian scientists in their achievement. Translate the knowledge. Understand if you're working with a matter state, or you're working with plasma state, or you're working with a mixture of two. At the moment, you're working with a mixture of two. You put the plasma in, but you contain it with a copper core. You contain it with a plastic. So now you're working in a mixture. Use one in advantage of the other, till you come to the point that that layer of the copper or plastic or the ball you had can be changed to a different speed of rotation of the plasma, that it creates the separation as you want. But for now, at least you can start. Do not change the central mass of the core. Make different balls, but make a pot, shake it and absorb, extract from it what you need, and put it in the center core. So more or less you're about the same all the time. Change the diameter, the outer diameter, or change the acidity or salinity of the outer core, or change the speed. Don't change everything at the same time. It's mayhem. That's why you don't get nowhere. Change slightly more acidity into the outer core, because your inner core, you already fixed it. And then you see where the time comes where you start seeing the lift of the center core from the bottom to the middle, and then you start seeing when you start leaking water, and continue. Or you get extraction of the water inside, continue. Change the speed slowly and see the lift. Do the same thing with the voltage current through your maggrav system. Your maggrav systems will fly. Connect the maggrav systems, all three of them in a stacker, all the gravitational together, with a very little feedback. Don't connect one to the other. And then change the number of turns or a current flow through the magnetical core of all the three. Your system will fly. You will create a shielding, most probably first. We have seen in research 24 plus, 35 plus field expansion. Because now you dictate how far the field wants to be. Understand from now on the totality, but don't consider matter as a matter. Consider matter, as we always say, as one of the strengths of the plasma in the spectrum of the total plasmatic condition. Flight is imminent. It depends which one of you want to do it. If you want to see that it works, Renan, you're in the background. Is Renan with us? Hello? Have I been teaching myself?
Oh, we can hear you, Mr. Cash. We are looking for Renan.
Just trying to see there, Mr. Cash. I don't see. Yeah, Renan's there. I'll promote him to a panelist and see if he can speak.
Hello, Renan.
Renan, are you there?
Hello?
I'll
Maybe
try to
he's not.
unmute him if he responds. Hello, Renan? Not hearing the audio for some reason.
The children are there. He's somewhere in there.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the audio there. The headphone was unplugged at my end. Renan, are you there?
Are you there, Renan? No, I can't.
I don't think he's.
I think his children have taken over again.
Yes, I think they've taken him over there. Transmitting booth.
They are the joy of life. We don't see Renan. Is Arman in the background? Arman, are you there? Do you see Arman anywhere, or is he asleep?
I don't see him in the viewers list or as a panelist right now.
He doesn't seem to be online at all.
Okay. He must be asleep. So what happens in so many cases now, a lot of you who've been testing, you should be able to test flights. This is literally the way you can test it, the way you see it, the way it has to be. Can you try to raise Renan in the background for me, please? If Werner is online or Clint.
I'm already sending the messages.
Okay, thank you very much. So what you see, what you have to understand is that the composition of what air is in the ball links to the air which is in the brick. That it creates a plasmatic condition. Because they are in the same atmospheric condition. If I change the composition of the air in one or the other, you will find out that the length of the rope will change or there will be no interaction. The strength of the connection is decided by the man. You can pull the brick up with a thread. Small, thin thread. If you understood this, it should be very easy for you, all of you, to start test flight. Those of you who had the guns, who had made the balls, and you lost the balls and you can't find out, you don't see it. Now you can condense it. Now you have a flying system. Understand it, you can replicate it, you fly. Irrespective of position, anywhere on this planet. But be careful, you don't lose your balls. This is why we keep on asking 5,000 plus 7,000 plus 10,000 plus RPM machines, motors. Common denominator for isotopes of carbon is between 6 and 8, because sometimes it goes in the margin of nitrogen. So if you understood that, RPM has to be around between 6 to 8,000 and plus, depending on the diameter separation between the two cores. You got to understand how you measure the atomic mass plasma of your center core. It's not by grams. It's by molecular plasmatic weight and the amount you put in. A rough guide, which is not the correct, but a rough guide. Look at the avocado number, 6.19 or 6.3 times 10 to the power of 90. Then you have 20–30% margin of error because of the plasmatic condition, as plasma by order of magnitude is stronger in the plasmatic condition than the matter state. You can roughly fix the center at a given point, fix the outside, RPM, you'll fly. Have you found Renan yet?
Well, we can ask him again. Renan, are you available there? Can you unmute?
He's not there.
You see Renan and Bernie in busy status, so they are online, but probably not at the computer.
Okay, no problem. If you see them coming on, let me know.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Hello, I'm Mosfik Rashid from Bangladesh, and I have a question regarding the relationship of a dynamic system and a static system. In the static system, the coils are used, I believe, to create what is equivalent to mechanical rotation. Now, so in a dual core system, if I put, instead of mechanical rotation or electrical rotation through applying voltages, if I put the coils in the middle, then I should be able to create the potential differences between the two core without any mechanical or electrical rotation.
Yes, but you have to consider two things in the background. One is what kind of gas you use for coating it. You have to understand you have the separation of the nanomaterial. The current flow is in a plasmatic, not as a current, as a voltage.
So it should provide more advantage because electrical, it doesn't have the limitation because I can arbitrarily change the number of turns and don't have the vibration issues that in a mechanical system.
It is more efficient. Yes, it's more efficient. It's more It's much faster, but it's so strong, it's above the matter state. You have to find a way, if you want to use it for energy, to bring it down to matter state. If you want to use it for lift, to understand the comparison with the Earth gravitational magnetic field position. None of you have lost, let me explain, none of you have lost the core yet. None of you, nobody has lost the core when you're making the winding. If you look down your double coil, the center core, the what we call gravitational core, is another core, and every nudge, every turn on it is additional field transfer. So if you look at the bottom of the core, the coil, if you look, is exactly another reactor. And you got to look at the fields in the center and here, not at the copper and the turning or the nano coating. But you made more of them.
So the number of turns intensifies the inner strength.
Inner field. And nobody
Yes.
has ever tapped into it. If you look at it, just cut the coil you made and look. It's exactly the same as the cores you made. In the cores, you consider what material you put in. In the coils, you don't, just because you put something there and it has to work. You can make a coil to fly as easy as you can do a core, but it's much easier.
So it's much easier with a coil, I think, and that's my assumption.
Why not? Right. There are flight systems in the universe use that technology.
Okay.
But it needs mastery in understanding. Because every turn to the other, it amplifies the strength if you're using one end to feed the energy through.
Yeah, if it's in a loop, I mean the gravitational and the connected in a loop, the infinity loop, and if there is a relation, then it should work very rapidly. But the problem is that the relationship is, since it's nonlinear, just like having an there should be a relationship between the number of turns and the RPM.
Yes, let me explain to you what it is. The relationship is by order of magnitude, if you understand it, per turn.
So it's the exponential, essentially, it's increasing exponentially as turns get added.
You come from Bangladesh, you play chess, yes?
Not quite, but I know chess.
Yeah, you know chess. You know the story of the turn by the order of magnitude is the story of the guy who made the chess and asked the king what. The king said, "What do you want?" He said, "I don't want anything," but he said, "Oh, you made such a beautiful game. What can I give you?" He says, "Put 1 grain of rice in the first house and double it to the next." By the time they got to the 64 block, there was enough rice in the whole kingdom to pay the man as a present.
Thank you, that clears up a lot.
Needs a wise man to see. This is what you do when you create voltage current through. But nobody has ever picked on it. And I put it always in a nutshell, but if you understand it, you can control a plasmatic field, the coil. And a lot of people, if you go back on the internet, you see what I call donut flying system. Donut flying system use a coil system. It's a very common, it's another, like, you have a Rolls Royce and you have a Mini and you have a truck. It's another flight system. Those of you who understand the coil system in the future will build a donut. Donut has a lot of advantage. Donut flight system, space system, has huge advantage. But it's very, very hard to control because it absorbs too much energy, and flying it is much easier because you can tilt it much easier. You always fly by tilt. Flight vertical is very difficult. And the beauty with it is that it creates a donut field. So you can actually fly to very tense, very intense fields, like what you call Newton stars. Donuts is one of the best way to fly with them. You can change the flight mode system 6 and 12 coils, the way I've shown before, into a donut. Very easily. They work very perfect donut, but then you have to understand there are two ways of donuts. You can create a donut. Back again with this thing. Let me change this because then I can do it. You have it. Something is happening here again. You have a donut this way. With a donut, you look at it this way as a donut, or if you look at the bigger donut, you look at it this way. If I can draw it. Here, you create a field on this body, on this side. And here you correct the field on this side. So, you play the fields interaction. And the donuts shape flight system are amazing to fly with. Try it. What you got to do, if you're using the coils, is to connect the gravitational to a different power supply and the magnetical to a different power supply. You still see your coil flying. If you get it right, you got the mixture right, you got nano coating right, you see the coil flying. But make sure you have no attachment to the wall as a power supply. You have to be on a battery type thing, because the minute it takes hold, the whole structure starts rotating. Initially, it vibrates to the left usually, because it tries to go anti-clockwise, and then it finds it balances, so it goes direct. It's one of the pleasures of space flight. Don't forget, in the donut, your central field sits in the center. You can more or less use the atmospheric condition of the universe to create what you like as your black hole. Your black hole sits right in the center, which gives you the energy. You decide what you drain from it, it dictates your speed. It's an amazing flying system. Any other question?
Hello, Mr. Kesh. This is Renan. I'm here, sir.
Yay! Thank you very much for coming back. Renan, can we see your street demonstration of a couple of days ago with a weight sack of sand and a
Okay,
ball?
sir. Give me a minute to pick the video.
Okay. You will see it working. Oh, there comes my tea. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kesh, we have also Armin with us.
Okay. Where is Armin? Let's Renan show. Have you found your video yet, Renan?
For a while, sir, I am looking for it.
Armin, are you there? Are you awake?
Oh, yes, I.
We made him awake.
How did
Sorry,
you wake him up? Did somebody call him?
Yeah, I was sleeping, Mr. Kesh. I just.
Sorry about that. I wanted to know if you would like to show how you're gonna lift with your chair up.
It's 2 o'clock, Mr. Kesh. And
I know, I thought you were online.
yeah, I just woke up, you know.
No, go back to sleep.
No, it's okay.
We didn't want to wake you up.
It's okay. It's okay.
Arban has tested it and it works. Renan has the video of it and it works. Understand and translate the knowledge, and then you understand very easily you're all in a flight mode. Just translate the knowledge in the right way. Translate the knowledge how it should be, not what you like it to be, and it will fly. Have you found it, Renan?
For a while, sir, I think I lost it in my folder. I'll just find it in the other folders.
Okay. It's a few days old, it should be there somewhere. This is important because this puts what has been with a lot of you trying to fly out of the whole equation. In what you wanted to achieve and how you wanted to achieve flight. Because with this way, we can now open the books of universe. With this way, we can extend it. We can see how far we can go, how you can expand it. Now you understand why people could not see the flight. Have you found it, Renan? Hello?
Hello, sir. Not yet, sir.
Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Cash. This is Mohsen from California. Mr. Cash, in one of your teachings, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you mentioned that there is a universal GANs for every purpose, for every single purpose in the universe, from creating the matter to the lift to energy, medical, one single GANs that it can cover everything. Can you please explain a little bit about it, if you could?
The gas is deuterium. Deuterium is a balanced condition. When you use deuterium, you got to go back to the essence of understanding of the physics of the whole structure. I'm going to clean this up if you want to get this.
Hello, sir. I got it, sir.
You got it. Okay, let's see this and then I'll explain to you about deuterium. Can you show it? I stop sharing, that you can take over. Would you like to share? Now you see how all of you can fly very easily. Would you like to play it? Thank you very much, Renan. Do you want to play it again? If you look, the back hardly rotates, but thank you very much. Now you see it's very easy. Now
You're
you see
welcome.
all. Thank you very much. Now you see you can all fly. In respect to space development, I have taught you enough today to see number of people moving in towards showing. I have to warn you about something. Those of you who start showing flights or showing power units, You get intimidated by the number of people and organization. Stay strong, get in touch with the Keshe Foundation. We protect you. We've done that with Alex, we've done it with a lot of Keshe Foundation supporters. The status quo is what they want to keep. So please, you achieve, go straight on the internet. Put it on. The more people they put on what you achieve, you'll find out other people bring their school of thoughts in. The harassment by a bunch of what I call pedophiles should not be the cause of change of humanity to back to animal condition. You have a problem, you receive a threat, let us know. We know what they are doing in the background, but we don't talk about it because we have left it in the hand of people who know how to handle these things. We got to be positive and move into the next step, and that's today's teaching. I hope I have given you a final link for all of you to understand. Convert literally is very much like converting millimeters to inches. It's the same thing, but different words and different amounts of it. From plasma to a matter state is the same, but you have to consider different strength to it. You all should be able to fly. Test the ball with a brick, with a mass. And just don't look at it as a physical, look at it as plasma interaction. And then you will be able to build your flight systems. Use the gas, you do the same. Use the coils, you do the same. Use the, what you call, the gaseous system, you will achieve the same. Anyone who understands what I said, try to fix that. Your doesn't matter how many balls you come, it doesn't go. Keep on changing the outside core. Don't touch the inside anymore. Till speed or a field will give you a lift. The first thing you see is the inner ball will lift from the bottom to the center. Then you will see creation of the empty center. Then you will see the total lift. If you come to the empty center but you don't see lift, add more to the outer core. Use combination of the GANs, nanomaterial, even matter state. But don't change the center. Just change the parameters till you achieve lift. You will see the light, you will see the expansion of the fields, and you'll achieve lift. I'm sure those of you who already made a lot of these ping pong balls, double layers, and you tested it, now you understand what you got to do. Remember the gravitational magnetic field, the strength of the center, and just play with the outside or with the motor. You all fly. Thank you very much for today.